And again, that stop is at entry on WENA for the last half. So after this trade, we'll do some scanning here, see what we have on the gap scan. So far, about 150 bucks of profit overall on WENA. I still have a half left as well. So we will see where it wants to go from here. Hopefully we can get that move over 4.7 to 5. That's where the range is here on the daily as well. You've got that incentive to 5. And until I see big sellers come in off the highs, there's not really a reason to sell full yet. If I do see big sellers come in under that 5, then we might reconsider. But as of right now, the stop loss is at entry with a half left. So we'll see what it wants to do. I don't really care to get too aggressive up here, get too greedy up here. Like I said, incentive is kind of dry. You've got that 5 right overhead. And if we do see a big seller off the high, like I said, I will consider cutting this full for profit and move on from it. I did have about 1,000 shares on this. Knocked it down now to about 250 from that was 470s up there. So we'll see. If it cracks below entry, I'll go ahead and cut it for profit. And we can move on to the scan here for the morning. Testing and getting bought back up here off of entry. Want to see it hold off of these 3 or these 4 upper 430s. Otherwise, I will cut for profit. At this point, I'm looking to tack on maybe an extra 100 bucks here if we can get that move to 5. Like I said, up about 150 so far on it, but if I can get that move to 5, should be able to net 250 to 300 on it overall. And at least I would be starting the day on a really, really good note from WNA there, but we'll see what it wants to give us. You know what's so silly? I looked at this back at like 6:30 today, and I wanted the entry so bad down there off of the 250 on the daily, and ultimately, I completely forgot about it. But at least we made some money up here. Hopefully, it gives us more opportunity later today too. These D-SPACs, like WENA and like AIVA or AIEV is the ticker actually. They've been super active lately, so maybe they give us more opportunity in some of those names. Maybe that's the new theme here is these D-SPAC names. And that may give us something to keep an eye on. Here's 450s now back on WENA. It actually pulled back to entry at 438. Now it's already back up another 13 cents a share. So maybe it gave you another re-entry opportunity there if you did take it, if you already hadn't been in this. Obviously, don't take it up here at 450, but it did pull back to entry for you. Let's see. Again, I want to see it hold off of entry, and so far it's doing that. And of course, just in with small size, do the pre-market. Best case, I can tack on some profit cushion to take regular size after the open. And like I always say, that's what I'm looking for in pre-market. I'm not looking to make or break my day in pre-market. I'm looking to just get a little bit on the table to just decrease the emotional aspect after the bell. That's it. So let's keep watching this. As long as it holds up off of this 20 EMA here on the 1 minute at 437, 438, then we are good and we're rolling. If it does break though, I'll be out and I'm going to cut it for profit. And I'd like to go through the scan here no later than 9:15. So no later than 7 minutes, I'm going to get out of this regardless, just so we can do the scan. I can't manage and scan at the same time. So if you guys want to manage it, that's fine, but I just can't do that at the same time. So if I have to, I'll cut it in 7 minutes and start the gap scan. And we can see what we've got to work with for today. Although I think most of our setups for the day are going to be on the nightly watch list. Testing the 20. Needs to hold off 438, otherwise I will cut for profit. Gonna go ahead and get out there for my profit. Overall, about 100 and like I said, about 150 overall after the scales there, after the final stop, 125. So nothing crazy, but at least got some on the table after that loss, a small loss on AIEV. Really similar setup, it just didn't give me the follow through I was looking for. But I am curious if we can't keep on playing this WENA though. I feel like it's going to keep on giving the opportunities here over that previous high at like 420. So if you want to keep on watching the dips here, you definitely probably can. Keep watching the dips on WENA going into the bell while I go through the gap scan. I just can't do two things at once here. So if you guys want to play WENA, keep watching those dips over 420. Keep watching those dips over 420. I cannot trade and scan at the same time, but you guys can trade and listen at the same time. So definitely be watching those dips on on WENA. I would just say the ticker, but yeah, it's an interesting ticker name. So definitely watch dips on that one though. OPTX we like possibly over 680, although pre-market looks a little bit wonky. Let me see here. I don't know that I love this. So maybe over PM highs you can watch it, but even then it's kind of out of range. So no thanks. AIEV I may consider again today over previous highs and pre-market back here off of 220. So like I said, this is really similar to WENA. Both of them look to be D-SPACs. I don't mind AIEV over 220, so we can look for dips on that out of the bell. Let's do that. Let's look at AIEV dips. We're going to be watching dips on both. So AIEV dips, we've got to 220. We've got WENA dips off 420. Both of those I like quite a bit. VLCN I do not like much anymore. We caught that one, what, 2 days ago for a really nice move, but I don't love it today. Rivian we are going to be watching today. That's on the nightly watch list though, so we'll go over that in a little bit. I'm not going to go over that just yet. Please keep watching those dips over there on WENA. FedEx, not going to be watching today. Was going to consider it, but small caps are too hot for me to be watching a FedEx today. ORMP, nice look on the daily. What do we have here? Horrible pre-market liquidity. Lucid up with Rivian. You've got a lot of your EV names up on Sympathy today. All right, so for gappers, we've got AIEV and WENA, which I like. WENA off of these dips going into the bell. I'm also considering AIEV to take into the open too, off of Sympathy with WENA, because again, they're both D-SPACs. They both fit the same exact theme. So I think both of these setups are going to be awesome to be watching into the bell today. And AIEV, you're a bit early to AIEV in comparison to WENA. So definitely I'd be watching AIEV off of dips as well, because it could go off of WENA. And the thing is, once WENA begins to sell off up here at the highs, that volume can then disperse to the next gapper in line, which in this case is going to be on AIEV. And the setups here look pretty much identical on the daily. You've got range on AIEV to about $5 and then about $7. So do keep that in mind too. It's got plenty of upside. And overall, it's just a nice look, and it's a nice little sympathy runner off of WENA. So I would be watching that one rather heavily. And I may look to take some AIEV here shortly. We'll have to see. I am watching it at the moment. Watch for the dips to VWAP on AIEV for an entry, risking the bottom of the 5-minute at 247. Again, watch for an entry on the dips on AIEV to VWAP. VWAP currently sits at 270. Watch the dip entries, again, risking 247 on that. And again, the thing is, it fits the theme perfectly with WENA as well, like I'm mentioning here. So the theme for the morning looks to be these D-SPACs. So I would not mind at all to be watching for an entry on AIEV. Aside from that, though, let's go over the nightly watch list, see what we've got working here. Let me get that pulled up. All right, so nightly watch list, we've got RGS, which we played yesterday fantastically. We played it like, what, 3 times? And did really, really well. I want to watch this again today for pullbacks off of its 50 EMA, which today, where are we sitting with that in pre-market? Let me take a look and see what we're lined up with here. I mean, really, that'd be super tight at this point. I don't know that I love to be risking that level with how tight that is. I think I'm going to watch it off 1630. I wouldn't keep it any tighter than that. I might even do a 1620. I was going to do the 50 EMA, but again, a little bit too tight for me. So we're going to do dips off 1620 on RGS today. Dips off 1620 on RGS, which I'm pretty excited for today. Yesterday, that thing was awesome. GRDI, we don't like for today. We would like it possibly if it held over 220, which it is not doing this morning, so we're not going to be playing that. We've also got BTDR to watch today. This one looks fantastic if price action clears up over 1011, which I doubt that happens today, but we're going to watch it anyways over 1011. If it does clear up, then we'll be there ready for it. And we've also got Rivian this morning too. So we've got Rivian to watch after its Volkswagen news yesterday. We got a little trade on that yesterday afternoon for some small profit. Wouldn't mind watching it again today. And again, that entry there is going to be off of 1625, which honestly, I might actually loosen up as well to about 1560 to the pre-market lows. So we can actually do a Rivian off of 1570 out of the open for that reversal back into its 17 range to the upside. So a little bit different plan here, but range back to 17. And the range after that would be looking at about 18 bucks. So 17 and 18 there on Rivian, off the dips, giving it some breathing room as well. So those are really the main watches for today. WENA is the top watch. AIEV is a little kind of sympathy watch off of WENA, depending on how, I guess, serious this move on WENA gets. But I think this is going to be the top watch today is WENA, really similar setup to RGS yesterday, these little stair-step setups, which we got a lot of opportunity in RGS yesterday after the bell. So I'm kind of going to have the same game plan going into the open today on WENA, where we're going to be looking for these pullback entries, probably down under $4. If we can nail an entry after the panic sell-off under 4, maybe get something risking 370 or so, I feel like we'd be positioned really nice for that reversal back up into the 5s. So I think that's going to be the game plan here. So dips off of, I'm going to say max 370 out of the bell if we can catch some type of panic after open, and hopefully be able to play this for that reversal back up into the daily range to 5. I'll say max range, max risk 360. That's going to be absolute lowest dollar I would allow. We will look at that after the bell. Of course, I don't like it up here. I want to try and play some type of panic after open. If we can get on some type of flush there at the bell, then I wouldn't mind playing that at all. So we can definitely be watching that too on WENA. So nice look there. And again, my top watch is going to be there today on WENA. Pretty wild move, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. Volume still steadily increasing as well, so it looks like it's going to be a fun one for today. Let's pull up these stocks now on our charts and get them ready for the open. We want to get AIEV pulled up. We want to get WENA pulled up. We want to get, let's see, We've got about 5 total to be looking at right now. So a little bit less than yesterday, in which we had like 8. Maybe we get more after the bell to watch today, but for right now, we only have these to be watching, which I wish we had a little bit more to look at. Just because the thing is, if you only got 5 plans to look at, if none of them meet criteria, then you're sitting here just kind of twiddling your thumbs, you know? And I don't love that. I don't love that. So I don't mind sitting here patient, but the thing is, you've got no more plans for the day. So it's not even a matter of being patient. It's a matter of not having any more plans to be even patient for. Like, there's nothing to wait for. So fingers crossed that we can find something out there in addition to these plans. But we might not need it, depending on how today goes. We might not need it. Maybe some of these meet criteria, maybe they don't. But I guess we're going to find out here pretty soon. Let me get my charts ready. We got 1570 on Rivian. Okay, I think I'm good. I think I am ready for the open. And it looks like today should be pretty enjoyable. Right now we're starting the day with 2 quarter-size losses. Very, very small losses on AIEV. And also have a little win on WENA as well from the 438 to 470s. So kind of a slower start to the day again, but more than manageable. More than manageable. So we'll see what we get after the open. We have about 10 minutes, which means we're going to be sitting back for the next 10 minutes until the open and then go from there. But again, watching for a flush entry on WENA after the bell. Yesterday, we had a literal exact move to that on RGS yesterday at the open. We saw the panic ensue at the bell. We swooped in, took a nice dip entry on it for the reversal back to highs, and took a massive win on it. So looking for a similar setup on that today. Pre-market setup looks exactly the same as RGS yesterday. So I'm pretty optimistic on the open, but we'll have to see what comes of it. WHR Whirlpool up in pre. Like I said, though, we'll see how small caps go, and if not, then we've got WHR, we've got FedEx, we've got some earnings names to look at, so we'll flip back to those if need be. About 8 minutes. If you guys have any questions before we get into the open, let me know. We can run through those real quick. We've got, like I said, about 8 minutes, a little bit less. What was the craziness at 8 a.m.? So that is typical. That is typical. They're not real. It's not real. You can't get filled on any of those wicks at 8, but on some brokers, you can kind of filter out that price action. Unfortunately, on Webull, I don't think that you can filter it out. But they're mostly orders from yesterday coming through. Or just showing up on the tape. They're just misprints. They're not like valid prints or anything. Well, 6 minutes to go. And yes, the plan on WENA did change, yes, because we're waiting for it after the bell now. I was looking for pullbacks before the open. Now I'm looking for pullbacks after the open, and I want to play some panic. So I'm going to be playing it off of 360 instead. So right now we're just waiting. I got WENA as my top watch, and I'm still keeping a close eye on that one going into the open as well. And as far as AIEV, yes, I still have a quarter size in that. So again, I've got very small size in it. Very small size in it. If it doesn't work out, I'm going to be starting the day with a half-size loss total. We got one win. We've got two other losses. So if I do take a loss on AIEV, it'll be a half-sized loss total to start the day. Not bad at all. Super manageable. One trade can make that back and more. So do keep that in mind as well. Make sure you do manage your risk. But taking a little bit of risk into the bell here with just half size. Yesterday was an awesome day for us. We actually had a pretty big green day. And so now today we can take a little bit more risk. Yesterday was a pretty average green day for me. Back on par with last week's green days. So I'm looking forward to hopefully we can tack on some more today. And we'll see what the open has in store. But yesterday was fantastic. Am I buying at the open? No, I'm already in AIV. Took the entry about 10 minutes ago. With just a quarter size. Very, very small. And again, that risk on AIV is 246. And David, my only thing about that, brother, is make sure you're trading the chart, not the news, right? Make sure you're trading the chart. If the chart shows value in that news that you're talking about there with its new delivery, then you can trade it. If it doesn't, then and all you've got is news, then I would avoid it. Three minutes until open. Again, make sure you do manage risk on AIEV. Only have a quarter size in that, 25% of my usual risk. And for those of you that are new and do not quite put enough emphasis on size, please make sure that you do. Otherwise, you're going to get crushed in pre-market, then it's going to ruin the rest of your day. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Feel like the longest few minutes of my life. But WENA still holding up well. So again, watching for a quick flush entry on that at the open. Just like the entry yesterday we took on RGS. Does that mean that I'm buying anything lower than 246? No, 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 no. No, do not buy under 246. That is my stop loss. My Rivian levels are on the screen here. You can see I'm watching it off 1570. They are on the screen. My range is also on the screen as well. Minute and a half to go until the bell. Again, watching WENA off of dips at the open. Preferably very low fours I'd be looking for. I'd like it under 4, but if I can get a very low 4 entry, I wouldn't mind that either.